So I'm Ruth Davey, and I'm the director, founder of Look Again. Look Again is an organisation that supports people to slow down, to really slow down, and to look, and then to look again in order to really see what is in front of them. So the idea being that by slowing down and learning to see differently, everything could be seen from a different perspective. My journey started way before I actually started working with photography. So on a more personal level, I was given a camera at the age of 10 or 11, I can't remember exactly, by my parents. And after that, I was always the family photographer. You know, I was always the one that was carrying the camera around. I always loved looking and seeing. I've always been incredibly observant. At the time, I didn't realise that, but of course I look back and that makes sense to me now. I moved from Bristol to Stroud, Gloucestershire, where I'm now based, and I started to take my love of photography a lot more seriously. My background is actually nothing to do with photography. My background is international development and community development. So I've worked with NGOs in London primarily, but also at times in various parts of Africa. I spent a lot of time in London and then in Bristol doing inner city community development work, working with refugees, asylum seekers, promoting diversity, raising or encouraging people to celebrate the vitality and creativity of primarily Bristol's inner city. That goes back quite a way. I would consider myself to now be a photographer, but I'm actually within that, I am a facilitator of a process that I've created over the last few years. The idea was to bring all my other work experience together with the photography, which was really about supporting people to see themselves differently and see the world around them differently. And largely because of my previous work experience, it was together, how can we not just see differently, but then do differently as well. So my first camera was a little point and shoot film camera. And then I've had various cameras along the way. My first SLR film camera actually involves a very interesting travel story, which involved being held up at gunpoint twice in 5 hours. So that's maybe for another time. What I use now and what I've been using, but different models over the last few years, is a Canon 5D. I started off with a Mark II, now I'm using a Mark IV, and I love it, it's my baby. I like to keep things as simple as possible. So I shoot in manual most of the time when I'm working for myself, but I'm not very techie, and I'm not interested in lots of lenses. I shoot with a 50mm most of the time. And it's light, I carry it around, it's easy, just in one little bag, and that goes everywhere with me. Over the years as an adult, I had various episodes of anxiety and depression. And back in 2015, so literally 10 years ago from this month, I was getting to a point where the anxiety had come back. I'd jumped ship from a part-time job, and I was full-time on Look Again. And suddenly it was like I knew that it just felt like my body was going to give up on me and that I needed to stop, but I didn't stop. And I carried on. And it was like literally about a week after that, I couldn't get out of bed. And I had what at the time I described as a mental health breakdown. I've realised that there was a lot more to it than that. You know, so the kind of life circumstances as well as like kind of deeper stuff, but the way I see it is that it all interrelates. And then last year I was diagnosed with ADHD. And so now I look back at 10 years ago and I think, well, was that a breakdown? Or was it actually an ADHD burnout? 2 B words. I'm not particularly into labels or you know, but for me, it literally felt like I was breaking down, and looking back, it also felt like I was burning out. But now I realise that part of that was related to the ADHD, which I didn't know about. I've kind of, over time and as part of my recovery process, I reframed that and I've seen it as my breakthrough. So my burnout has become, or has for the last few years, been my breakthrough. So as part of my recovery process, I was literally in this shed, right? Literally 10 years ago, I was almost living in this shed because, I mean, I did get out of bed, but I couldn't really do anything for a few weeks. I couldn't go to work. I could just about make sure my son was fed and got to school, but I needed a lot of support. So as part of my recovery process of being here and sleeping and here, you know, just being here, I was thinking, well, what do I love? What do I love in my life? And I thought, well, I love photography. I love nature, and I'd also got into mindfulness. And I thought, well, it was very subconscious at the time, but what I started doing was literally slowly walking around my garden and literally looking again at my garden as if I'd never seen it before. This was all very subconscious at the time. And then as I started to feel stronger, I started walking around the streets, like my neighbourhood, and seeing everything as if I'd never seen it before. So like the idea of the beginner's mind and bringing in curiosity as part of that. And then gradually, as I got stronger, I started going up to the woods, which I can see from here, and then up onto the common, which I can't see from here, but it's literally like 5-minute drive away. So when I felt like I really needed like refuge and somewhere to really be quiet and held, I would either be in my shed or in the garden, or I'd go up to the woods, and I have my favourite places that I'd go to where I really just felt really held by nature, specifically some trees. And then when I felt like, actually, I need to see the bigger picture. You know, I need to actually see beyond the now and just kind of look at that bigger stuff. Then I'd go up onto the common where there's hardly any trees. There's a big sky. You can see right over to Wales. There's the river. It's like, you know, it's beautiful. And often I'd go up there late in the afternoon, early evening, and watch the sun go down as well. So yeah, I was really sensing into what I needed at the time. I think the reason why photography became so important to me wasn't just that I like photography. It was the meaning, the interpretation of what I saw, how that supported me in whatever I was experiencing in that moment or at that point. So if, say, I was feeling really depressed, which I was feeling really dark, and rather than deny that, I allowed myself to really go there. So the images that I created sometimes were very, very dark. But then what would happen, of course, was that I would always see the light. So there was always bits of light, you know, whether it was pitch black at night when I'd go out with my camera and, you know, I don't use a flash, and, you know, but there was always that sense of the light comes in. So that, you know, on a very basic level, that was a lot of what was happening. But also, if I was feeling dark, I might actually consciously choose to think, well, I'm feeling this way. What would the opposite of that be? So if I'm feeling really dark, what can I see that actually looks bright and light? So often, you know, the weather would help, or I'd either focus in on something that was really beautiful, that spoke to me of something more hopeful and bright, or something that was more, you know, the light, the bigger picture as well, depending on where I was. So it was very much that conscious thing of looking and seeing in a way that would help me reframe what I was experiencing. Our new work is called Creating Hopeful Futures with Mindful Photography. That's our new training program that we launched this year. Not only within a training perspective, but, you know, we go into organisations, we work with the NHS and lots of other, you know, the Forestry Commission, all kinds of, London School of Economics, Cambridge, Uni. You know, we've done lots of really interesting work where we're bringing together this new work with the more with the work that we were doing that was more specifically relating to using photography in a therapeutic way to support mental health and well-being. So it's well-being in the now, but it's also how we can look and see and create images that support a healthier future as well. So it's both. We've worked in all kinds of different situations, from real grassroots, working on developing lots of community partnerships here in Gloucestershire and in Bristol, to then going online during lockdown because we had to then people around the world finding out about our work and joining workshops, or we had very short courses at the time. And then what started to happen was I realised that there was a lot of interest by other professionals who are either photographers or mindfulness teachers or therapists or counsellors, coaches, forest school teachers, all kinds of things, who found out about the work and they wanted to know what was behind it. So what I started to realise was that there was room for a training programme so that I could train others in the methodology that we created. So we've worked more on the grassroots kind of side of things with thousands of people since 2012 when I officially launched Look Again. And then hundreds of people around the world actually came to our online workshops. But then more specifically in the last 4 years, since we launched our first training program, which is called Working with Mindful Photography in, 2020. So yeah, first year of lockdown. Since then we've trained over 200 people in over 30 countries. Look Again offers a methodology that really brings together or weaves together a combination of photography with mindfulness and nature, or nature connection, and more specifically, like really learning with nature. So it's not just about going for a walk in the woods or something, which we do, but it's about really being in nature and learning from nature. When I talk about mindfulness, what we're doing is providing we focus very much on what is referred to as the attitudinal foundations of mindfulness, which really supports the idea of the beginner's mind, curiosity, compassion, non-striving, non-judgment, letting go, curiosity, trust. So the practices that we offer are very much based along how we can use photography to develop those attitudes in a really intentional, conscious way. Yeah, I'm really proud that the methodology that we use has been evaluated by the University of Gloucestershire over a 3-year period, and that we can say therefore that our work is evidence-based to specifically decrease anxiety and depression and improve mental health and general well-being. I think projects like Look Again are really important because for lots of reasons, but we're facing a mental health crisis which affects us as individual human beings. We're facing all kinds of planetary crises and everything in between. So it goes from that real, from that individual perspective right up to the global and the planetary. And I believe that we can use photography to not just create images for ourselves as individuals, but that can that can support us as individuals, but that can also collectively really support decisions that we make on a community basis within organisations, and then goes out literally to the more systemic perspective right up to the global planetary. And for me, photography and a mindful approach to photography, which is what we're really doing, is really about becoming really consciously aware of what we're creating images of. So it's the opposite of snapping and being mindless with our images. It's really about, in this moment, right here, right now, what can I see?